Welcome to Chatting with the Stars. I am so sorry to delay. We've had some technical issues, but you know, wherever Satan prevails, he will not be for long. We just want to thank you all for being patient with us. Chatting with the Stars is going to have a legacy tonight on our bishop, because my guest tonight is my bishop, Bishop Owen Walker. Dr. Owen Walker, we have had him on so many programs, events, functions, yet we've never had him on Chatting with the Stars. I remember when we used to have Chatting with the Stars at our former studio. That time when we were a secular station, and he would come and sit in with us for just to listen, just to be beside me, just to hold my hand through it. And now he's here on my panel tonight. I'm so honored to have Bishop Dr. Owen Walker as our guest for Chatting with the Stars. It's an honor.
Thank you.
We are going to talk about his life as a bishop, life as Owen Walker, life as businessman Owen Walker, life as father Owen Walker, life as husband Owen Walker, and of course the temptations of the office. We want to talk about that as well. We've had some interesting experiences over the years, and tonight is his night. Bishop, welcome to the set of Chatting with the Stars.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Yes. I've been watching Demon Busting.
You do?
Yes, it's good. It's very good. Anointed information that we need to break curses off our family lives and ancestral. Yes. Now, when you grew up in Jamaica?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were also a principal at one point.
Yes.
Because we are on a matter of education, we just want to remember Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, the shooting that took place. We cannot forget that our children, we send them to school for them to learn. Now they're timid and they're afraid because of what is going on. And now we know that the enemy is fastly, his time is short, and he's working overtime to get to our kids. So we want to talk about that as well as a principal. He's also you're with the city of Miramar.
Yes, with the police department.
With the police department as well.
Yes.
So many hats. And tonight he is a star in his own rank. He is. We love him. We really love our bishop. He's funny. He's real. He's realistic and anointed to do what he does, especially in the area of deliverance. Now, Bishop, your childhood, tell us a little bit about that. What was it going to be? You know you were going to be a bishop?
When I was like 8, 9, my favorite Bible character was Daniel, because he always sit in his window, I looked through his window over Jerusalem and prayed every morning, and that aggravates his friends. I always wanted to be a Daniel. In life's career, I wanted to be a king. However, as a child, I 6 boys of us and 1 girl, 7 of us in 1 family. I went to the elementary school, and then from there, I went off to secondary school. And after that, I went to pursue trade skill. Because to be honest with you, going to college then, my parents couldn't afford it.
Okay.
And in my college years, I'll be honest with you, my uncles and my aunts, they were not really the best of people. And people who blood are family members. And I've seen a lot of family members who, mother and father grew up with a child and their children, and they died prematurely because I hate you, you hate me. And so I killed your child.
Wow.
My father was sick for 30 years. My father was a farmer, and we had land. When it comes to like breadfruit tree and pear tree and food produce, we have that. 7 of us, and we used to work hard, and my dad used to work hard. And I saw my father for 37 years had to walk on a stick. And at the end of the day, with a crutch, and at the end of the day, when we found out it was my aunt, she's dead now, my uncles, they're dead now, and my aunt husband. And they did witchcraft, and my father was stuck for 37 years. My mother is the one who grew us up, and she was acting like a man. She died past when she was only 5 years old. And so, growing up as a child, we had it hard in terms of going to school because we had to do all the hard work, ground provision to take care of ourselves and take care of the family and take care of each other. And I remember clearly when I was about 12, 13, that we had, I think I made mention of this before, our house was like on a horizon, on top of that was like a hillside, and there was a big tangerine tree with one of these Easter plants grow on top of it, and when Easter comes, it's pretty flowery and looks so good. So I went as a child and was digging around the root to see if food was there. You talk about June and July when there's no food, no breadfruit, no orange, no nothing. So you want to find any kind of food. And I remember I heard a little tin, and I dug down to see what that was. And then when I dug down, I did the second one and the third one, and then it brought to my attention that this is not normal. One plant could not be in 3 tins. So I called my mom, and when my brothers came in the evening, we excavated the whole place. And there were 9 tins, 7 for the 7 children, my mom and my dad. They planted us with witchcraft. So I am not supposed to be standing here or sitting here or talking to you. I was destined, buried, to have been dead. When I was 12 years old, I remember, one morning, all I knew then, I was on my father and mother's lap. And I know that when I really got up on what got me up is Psalms 23. That's my favorite Psalms. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When I woke up, they had the ice outside, they had the zinc outside, and they had the sawdust outside. I'm a dead man. So that the yard was filled with people. I thought they was about to put me on the ice and preserve me for burial. That's all I know. From there, I grew up, I went to school, from school.
So you were dead?
Dead man. Dead.
What caused that?
Well, witchcraft.
Witchcraft?
Yeah. Because I remember my aunt, she dead and gone now, and my uncle and my aunt husband said that none of Miss Daisy's children should ever be anything or leave the district to go anywhere. I remember in those days, my bigger brothers, 3 big brothers, and everybody in the community would get ticket or card to go to England. And my uncles, my aunts, all of their children went to England. And my brothers, none of them, every time they go, they always turn them down. Never get a ticket because it's proposed that we should never, ever leave the district. Well, if anything good can come out of my district, I'm
Where is that district?
Good. Well, I was born in Caledonia, and then we moved to Brownstown.
Okay.
Yeah.
In St. Anne?
Yeah. I went to Madras Elementary School. I went to Wattown Elementary School. And then when I went to Montego Bay, I went to, we call it Orange Hill Secondary School. Yeah. But here I am today. As a child, I grew up when I was like 17, 18. When I was 12 years old, I was baptized at a place called Murray Mountain. My pastor then was Dr. James H. Aljo. He died about 2-3 years ago. His wife is now living in Fort Lauderdale. And his first child, the daughter, she passed away at 57 years old. So I had some running when it comes to, when at 18, I had my own business. I went to Kingston.
What were you doing?
A construction. I had my own company. Yes, I had my own company.
What did you build?
What I built?
Yes.
Well, all these houses in that community, and I control all the plumbing. And then later on, I went to Cast and did plumbing. I had a bachelor, and then I had an engineering certificate because I went to Mexico on this program when Michael Manley used to have these Venezuela project and all of these. And then I came back. I was working with CSC Conditioner Associates in Kingston, and then I left them and worked with Trelawney Beach Hotel as a assistant chief engineer with Ward Air and a few other companies that comes in. I left from there, and the government gave me a scholarship, and I went to the college, trained, and then came out and worked in the government school for 5.5 years, and then 5.5 years I worked with SDC, and so I was responsible as a principal for Glendavon. I was responsible for
so you became a principal?
Yeah, for Granville, Christiana area, in St. James, and Nova.
At what age was that?
Oh, well, like 25, I got married when I was 29, so when I met my wife, I was fully professional at that
How did you meet your wife?
Oh, you're right. I met her through a friend, because we both were going to open Bible churches, but different churches. I was in Mount Salem and she was in Montego Bay. And a friend of mine who used to come to our church introduced her to me, and we were big on what we call Youth for Christ.
Okay.
Youth for Christ, thousands of young people would leave their community and come to Youth for Christ in Montego Bay. At the end of that, we would have roast corn, all the corn of produce that you can think about, because people make that kind of provision because they know so many people coming out. I was there, I met her. She was going to the Corner Regional Nursing School there. So that's where we met. Yeah, that's where we met.
And what was that like?
What was that like?
Yes.
I love the girl because she looked That's beautiful. We didn't take too long, probably about 3-4 months we got married.
You got married 3-4 months?
Yeah, in 3-4 months we got married. And today is 38 plus.
38
years plus.
Plus.
Yeah, so that was the outcome of our meeting together.
So you had how many children?
I got 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy. I lost my son about 9+ years ago, but my 2 girls are phenomenal. One of them gave me 2 grandsons, Isaiah and Israel. Awesome. By the way, talking about Israel, I've been to Israel 3 times. I walk every detail of the Old Testament and the New Testament in Israel. I've been to Rome once, I've been to Africa, I've been to other countries. I do missions, and on most of the Caribbean islands, I've been through them. And yeah, here I am.
Okay, now the office of a bishop.
Ooh.
Now let's talk about how did you get to there? From construction, you and your wife together. When did you decide that you would want to become a pastor?
When I was 18 years old, I was under my former pastor. I was the island youth director, pastor. From then I went to Bible school. I spent 2.5 years. Then I left from there and I went to Montego Bay. And in Montego Bay I became a part of the Open Bible Church. Based on my knowledge of the Bible, I was with the church for years as elder, and they had an extension of the Bible school in Montego Bay, and I also taught there for a couple of years. After that, I was pastoring the Samoa Missions Church, a place called Content, and from there we had a pastor who was in transition from Trinidad. He came and he was going to the Bible College in Kingston. He would be there for the whole week. He would come in on a Saturday evening, preach Sunday morning. So I was actually the interim pastor of the church. That was the second largest church on the island. So I've been there for all that time. Your question was, how did I become a pastor?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was an ordained minister then, but with Open Bible, they would not accept my ordination, so I just flow. After leaving there and came here, I got ordained as a pastor. I started a little church and then...
and you had your construction business at the time?
Yeah, in Jamaica.
No, in the States.
Yes. Yeah, I pastored the church and still, as a matter of fact, I was pastoring the church with that congregation, and then the load was too heavy on me because I had the 3 children with me then. My wife wasn't here. So what I did, I went and...
So you raised 3 children by yourself. How was that?
I used to bubble my girls, put all bubbles in their head every morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, we wake up and drop them off at the different schools, right? And was on my way to my job. My job take me from different place to place. I had 27 people working for me, a big construction company. I did some great jobs. It was in 1 year I was able to make, I won't tell you how much money I made, but I was able to pay down a large sum on my house that we have now over that time. At the same time, when I was at that church as associate pastor, I was responsible for the youth department and the whole education department. And I was teaching with the pastor with International Seminary. So I was one of those teachers too. I think when I first came here, within that time, I went to University of Biblical Study, and I did my first year, I did my bachelor's with them. And from then, after I left Dr. Campbell, I started teaching with International Seminary. I did that for 5 years, a professor. After that, with Church of God.
So you were a professor then?
Oh yeah. After that, Church of God wouldn't give me a credential, even though I had all these credentials. And I applied for a license with them, and they said I have to start from the bottom. I said, no, I wouldn't do that. And after a year, there's a gentleman by the name of Dr. Allen. He sent me the application. I started at the ministerial level, and then I went to the ordained minister's level, and then I went to the ordained bishop level. While with International Seminary, I did my master's and doctorate program. And then with, it's called International University and Seminary, I did my doctoral program. I did, with Church of God, a chaplaincy program to the second level. And with this university, I did my chaplain program at doctoral level. So yes, I have done a little bit of missions project. I did a lot of stuff that brought me to where I'm at today. When I got a church with the Church of God, I think my district pastor was Robin Tripp. He gave me a missions church where they had 5 names, and I only find 2 people. So it was my duty not to find the other 3. We eventually found them. We were renting from a place out in Sky Lake, this Caucasian. They were old people, and so they only have one service no more, like 8 to 9. So we were able to have all the facility. After a while, another group came in, and we had at least 5 different groups. We are struggling to use the facility. It so happened that one, I think it was New Year's Eve, we went there, and both groups want to do service. So a little fuss arises out of the situation, and when we went back the following Wednesday for Bible study, they changed the locks. Within that short time, a year plus, we were able to buy a church bus, and we had 100 members in the church. We were really booming. Now we had nowhere to go. We went down to one of his hotels to rent that place to do our morning services. We did that one time, and then the district church, which is a very large church over in Opalaka, we contacted the pastor. He said, yes, we could come on over. So we had to carry all our instruments with us every morning. We used to have 5 services at Sky Lake. Now we were only down to 1 service from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And then we have to take our instrument back and forth. Until one day, you know, we were really in turmoil, or people started drifting now. And we were passing by County Line here. There's a gentleman by the name of Charles Faluga, a white guy. Me and him and somebody else, we were coming through here, we saw the sign. And so we called the people, and they came over, they gave us a key, we took a look at it, no roof on this. Where the pulpit is now was a bar, a club. In the middle section of it was a pharmacy. The foyer there was no foyer there. So we went to work, we didn't have any money, all we had was $25,000, and this $25,000 brought us to where we are today. So in terms of ministry, when my wife came here, you know, with that small church, she said, no, the children were brought up in a large church. And so she think that's going to be a backward progress. So I had to give up that church and then, you know, associate with someone. So it's from that associate brought us to where we are today.
Today.
Yes.
What is it, the struggles of being a bishop? What are some of the sacrifices you've had to make to wear this mantle?
Wow. I think Jesus, God said that the oxen know his master's crib, but his people don't know him. It was God who told me that his grace is sufficient. That's why I am still here today. As a matter of fact, I have a choice when before I got a little church from my district pastor, I had a dream where I was on this mountain. And I saw, and this is just I can't believe it, 5 sheep grazing. And on the mountain, there was this bright, serene light came down. The serene as like crystal. And he showed me that. And all I saw was a hand with a black Bible. And he said, now or never. I couldn't figure out what that meant anyhow. So when I got the 5 people, I began to put this together. Then when I had a construction company, and I remember we were up in Boca Raton doing some 3-floor building, and the guys were working, and the black layers were putting the bricks up, and everybody wanted to get 8 hours, nobody want to lose an hour or half an hour. And so I said to them, don't put the beam on the freshly laid block. As soon as I turned my back, 2 guys did. One fell to the first floor, broke his neck, 5 ribs, actually crippled for a year and a half. He was in the hospital. When he got out of the hospital, he sued the company, insurance company, and sued the company. And then OSHA came in at the same time and shut me down. Now I couldn't get any insurance for any big project again. So all the project that I had, now that I don't have an insurance, I lost all that money.
How much money are you talking about?
Probably about $80,000 to $90,000. And then out by Miami Gardens, if you go before you go to I-75, on the left-hand side, there's a large scheme out there. Me and my friend, we met this Canadian guy. Well, he's American, but he lives in Canada. And he introduced us to the project. We said yes, and we decided to do the project, so we could handle that. He said, all right, don't worry, check will be all right. So whatever money we have, we invest our money with our credit cards. After 3 months, he came back. And when he came, we were anticipating a large check now. He said he would come back. Until today, we have not seen him. So thousands of dollars went down the drain. That's where the struggles start coming in now. I have the children. I remember after I couldn't get a job, not I couldn't get a job, but I have to take care of the children. 5 o'clock in the morning, couldn't leave them at home by themselves. So I have to come home at 2 o'clock and receive them from school, make a meal from them, and then go back out again. And I remember that things went down so bad that I had to start doing lawn service.
Lawn?
Lawn service.
You would cut lawn?
Yeah, get my lawnmower and cut grass, just to make some money to pay the mortgage and to keep, just to oversee the children that nothing went wrong with them. And I remember one evening, I came in about 2 o'clock and went to the house and was make a meal for the kids. And my son was outside with his friend playing. I left the truck with a trailer on the back of it with all the lawn equipment. I went to Home Depot and I did credit them and I credit all this stuff. When I came back, the trailer was gone. They took all the tools. So I said to my son, I said, what happened? He said, Daddy, I thought it was the guy working with you. Now I have no lawn tools. I have nothing now. It's gone. So I went to U-Haul and I rented a lawnmower, right, for a week. And I started using that. I went down to 111 27th Avenue. I was inside of this place cutting the grass and I went to the back of the house. When I came outside, the rake and the lawnmower is gone again. So those were some.
Where was it?
Down the road, yeah, University, on 111th Street. Yeah, I remember when I first started working in construction, because when I applied to the school, they said, oh, no, I have to go back to school. I couldn't go back to school at that time. I was the children here, so I had to find some other alternative to do what I have to do. I remember the first time I went out on the job, it was $6 an hour. They gave me a wheelbarrow, mark you. In Jamaica, I don't really push a wheelbarrow, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so when they gave me the wheelbarrow, they filled it with concrete block. I was supposed to push it in the sand. When I came home, my hands were blistered. I couldn't hold anything. So about these 2 days, I couldn't go back to work. When they get a little bit better, and I went back out. I didn't know about changing suit of clothes every day because of the dirt you work in. I didn't know about wearing a hard boots with steel fronts and that kind of stuff. So I was struggling, real struggling. And I remember I came home after the third day, and I have to wear the same dirty clothes, I stink and sweaty. And at midnight, I got up and I figured what would I do to get my clothes washed. There was no laundromat nearby. It's from 111 to down by where they have the police station now in that area. You used to have a big supermarket and a laundromat there. And I couldn't go at night, I couldn't walk it that far. So I got up in the night and I went in the bathroom and I used the regular wash soap and washed the pants and the shirt and my underwears. And then the next challenge I had, how would I dry it at that stage? So for some reason, the thought just came to me, turn on the oven, open the lid, and put the waist of the pan in, turn it on high, it heat up and it dry. So I clap my hands and turn the feet in now. The feet dried, and I did the same thing for the shirt, and it dried. So that's the way I got clean, dry clothes, smelling bad with that regular soap. You know, the regular soap don't really smell good. Right. So that's what I did. So that was a struggle until I overcame that. Most of my clothes then I went to the thrift shop because I couldn't afford. I remember I worked for the first month and the second month, didn't get any pay. And I had to buy food, I had to pay my rent, I had to pay the people who take me to work. So when I finally get my $6 for 2 months, whatever that was, I didn't have any money left. Whatever money I had left, I just sent back home to help out with the children. So that is where I started from. As a youth pastor at the church, I used to take the church van with me sometimes when it's youth nights and take my clothes. So after I'm finished working, I would dry clean myself, drive, come in with him, pick up all the young people, take them to youth service, and then take them back home at night. My 3 kids, we were coming back home at night, they were sleeping at Junkin Master. Well, 5 o'clock in the morning, I have to get up again. So in terms of ministry and how I got here, it has been a struggle, but here I am. I can't even explain how it all happened, but I do know it happened by the grace of God. No. Before I finally gave up construction, I remember the Lord said to me, whatever money you get and you spend it on things, that go. But if you spend the time and work with people, the anointing remains forever. And that was my total conviction. Gave up everything, became a full-time pastor. Full-time pastor without a pay, even until now, right? Even until we speak. I love what I do. If you take this from me, you take my life from me. The joy that I have doing what I do, there's nothing in the world would give me that joy. So whether it is money or no money, I love what I do because I know who called me. So at the end of the day, when everybody is, unhappy and complaining, I have nothing to complain about. One time did. I remember when I came here and I struggled, we didn't have money to buy all the kind of food. And at first when I came here, I never eat meat and that kind of stuff. And since my wife came here, we eat meat, right? We used to like fish and vegetables. And if you go into North Miami Beach, like you're going up to Mount Sinai, there's a big bridge there. I used to go on that bridge and go down about 80 feet or more than that, down to the raft down there and go fishing. And I remember one day, I went down and I had my whole bucket filled with fish. And I was coming up the ladder. It's about 2 ladders coming up. And when I got to the top of the ladder to get over on the road, Muscle Contract took me. And I felt like I was going to fall over. And my only thing was, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pasture. He leadeth me beside the still water. He restored my soul. And I hang on to that ladder like a dead man. I had the rods, I had the bucket with the fish, and I wouldn't let it go. All muscle went out of me until like a cool breeze came by, and I was revived again. And when I finally got over, I looked and I said, thank you, Jesus, I will never do it again.
That was the last time going fishing.
No, that's not the last time I've had an experience with fishing. I took some kind of risk, but looking back, I don't know what I was doing, but I did. I remember one night, me and my friend went out fishing. We were in 700 feet of water, and we were there from night until the morning. I got a young shark, and that's all we got. And some ship were passing the distance, and the waves started coming in, and the water started getting into our little boats. And it shut that little engine off, and we were in 700 feet of water. We waved the flags, nobody saw us. And now we start using the bucket to bail the water out. We started using the bucket to bail the water out. We bailed out as much as we could. We put on our life jacket, because we thought we were going to die. Right? And so what we did after a while, we had a screwdriver. Now the engine shut off, and they called it bridge. Your bridge told us you put a negative on the positive. And we did that, and you go boom. And that was it. Once we get out of shore, we never been back to over there to fishing again. Never ever. So it's a couple of times that I saw
brush with
great risk. Yes, great risk. And here I am.
You've had some temptations being a bishop, and then going to what is your advice to bishop? You see so many of them falling due to women and promiscuity, adultery, fornication, all of that stuff. The women are really, really facetious when it comes on to being with pastors. They look for a pastor to marry. Have you had that experience? And what is your advice to your peers?
Well, temptation. Let me tell you this. When I was pastor at the Hurley stage, I remember a sister called me one morning and said, "Pastor, can you come and pray for me?" And me as a novice, not knowing, because if you're a Christian, you're a Christian. That's how I see it then.
Yeah.
So I went and I knocked on the door, like this door. She said, "Hold a second, Pastor." And then she said, "You could come in now." And she is like upstairs and downstairs, but like 4 or 5 treads upstairs. And so she went back into the room, and I knocked on the door and said, "You could come in." When I pushed the door and went in, she was as naked as the day she was born. Yes, and those tits pop out in my face. I said, "Why do you do this?" She said to me, "Well, I don't have a man, and your wife is in Jamaica. You must want to have sex." So I said, "Sister, this is not right." And I back up as much as I could to the door. And I opened the door and I stepped out. She couldn't come out naked, so I was able to escape that one. The first thing I did was to call my wife and told her. Second, I called when my children came home, I told them. Third thing, Sunday morning when I get to church, I told them of what happened. That was my buffer. Because when other temptations came along, I remember that, and it served me as a buffer. Now, I did not call her name, and we still go to the same church then, and nobody until today. And I vow I will not tell anybody who that person is. I will not into disgrace or to humiliate the person. So that was a temptation, number one. My kept over the years is in Numbers chapter 18 to 20, where it talks about any man who uncover the nakedness of a woman who is not his covenanted wife, it's a curse. Now, that curse will pass from me to my children, to your children's children. And if they practice the same thing to the 10th generation, we're talking about some people say generation is 50, some say it's 47, some say it's 27. So whichever of those you multiply by 10, you're talking about years that your generation or your posterity can't live out.
Okay.
So that is my comfort, that is my keep. It's a curse. It will pass on to your children. And when we talk about curse, there are at least 40 different things that comes with a curse. And so, as a matter of fact, at some time while we were here, I left here and I went to Jamaica, and I went to my father's tomb. I took my youngest brother. I went to my father's tomb. I took my bottle of olive oil, and I went down there. I know his daddy couldn't hear me, probably, you know, wherever he's at, unconscious, but conscious of his environment. And I poured my bottle of oil, and I said, "The altar that you raised over my life," and I know you were a man of God, whatever happened that I don't know, you never told us, it will not happen to my family. So guess what? I'm putting down your altar, and I'm raising up my altar over my family. So whatever curse would have transferred from you to me, it stops there with you. And that is what I did. So I'm not expecting any curse on my children's life. I'm not promiscuous, and I don't have to be promiscuous because I know what the consequences is. So my kept is not because I couldn't. My wife was in Jamaica for years.
Wow, what was that like? You don't go through temptation? You don't go through
yeah, but I tell you what keeps me. Listen, about 6 months ago, when I began to look back on what could have happened, I cried like a baby. The things, I could tell you this right now. I remember we went to a birthday party somewhere in Miami Gardens. And they asked me to go in the garage to get some ice. And by the time I went in the garage, there was a lady laid down and I said, "Can I get a little piece?" Oh yeah, right there. The crowd inside, and we just went to the garage. But you know what? The devil wants the anointing. He wants to destroy the anointing. And that's why our temptation becomes more severe, more and more. Do I have temptations? Oh yes. But guess what? I told people quite clearly, especially our congregation, I said over and over, if a father cohabits with his daughter, it is incest.
Yes.
And if a pastor cohabits with the ladies in this church, and no men do that now, right? It's incest. I would never marry to a woman from our congregation. So get that straight. Whatever you see, whatever you know, it will never happen. So that is already established.
Why wouldn't you marry anyone from your congregation?
Because they're my spiritual daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, they're my spiritual daughter. So I could marry to my daughter. Well, some people does, but that is you. But based on the word of God, I'm not going to do that. So that is one of my kept over the years. I don't care if you're intelligent. I don't care if you're educated. I don't care if you have money and you can't catch me with your money because I don't borrow from them. I don't beg for nobody. The familiarity with those kind of fleshly things, no, I keep far from that. I'm a man of the word. I live the word. My children grew up on them. Never heard any argument about having a woman out there or children out there. The only 3 children that came from my quiver is Stacy Ann, Vanessa, and Julia. Now, woman out there can say, well, you have a baby out there and you grow up now and this is your father. No. Thank God for that. But now I'm older. This Sunday I'll be 71 years old. No. That would never happen again. Knowledge of the word.
Have you ever been coerced by a bishop or a pastor they come to you for advice?
Oh my goodness. I bring more pastors to deliverance than the regular people.
What?
I bring more pastors to deliverance than the regular people. But I can't call their name. Right?
Yeah.
People send them to me because people have got the benefits of what they've gone through. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of recent months, and he pastored a congregation of 800 members, and oh yes, it's bad.
Lost.
Yeah, the lust of the flesh. Oh yeah.
And what are some of the excuses that they use?
Oh yeah, I'm lonely. Some of the guys are impotent, and some of the guys there work too hard, on time. This guy came to me for deliverance. He's a handyman, kind of a high-profile guy. And when he came to me for deliverance, it's someone who knew him and he was going through the struggle. And when he came to me, he said he had 100 married women we cohabit with. He didn't need to work because I take care of them. And I asked him why. He said they complain of these women that their husbands are gone out and they come in late, and by the time they come in, they fast asleep. And some of them are impotent and they can't help them, so they're looking for a stallion. Oh yeah. And he became one of those guys. When he came for deliverance, and after we went through the incantation, we were sitting on a chair just like this. And all of a sudden, he said, I want to go pee-pee, I want to go pee-pee. I said, no, you can't leave. He said, I'm on fire. And he extended his hand and hold his penis and said, I'm on fire, I'm burning. I said, you can burn. And say right there, you're not going to leave. And he fell to the ground. And he rolled like you were rolling a dumpling. Excuse me. And he was delivered, set free from the act of promiscuity over the years. I had a lady who came from one of our Caribbean islands, and she was a television anchor. She's gone to 60 different countries. The girl is beautiful. Every country she's been to, she sleep with a man.
Wow.
And the night when she came to for deliverance, we asked the demon, how many of them? He said, 60 of us. And we are strong and we are powerful, you can't touch us. And after we were done, that woman rolled in the floor like a snake and get to the door and scream. And she was totally delivered. And never go back to those men. She married to a general from Germany because they were in her country. So yes, I had stories that I could tell, stories upon stories of deliverance. One of my first out of the country deliverance was in Israel. I met this woman when we went on my second trip, and she was really, really out of it. And when we talked to her and I figured out what was going on, she was a drug pusher, she was a prostitute, and somehow she was trying to get out of it. To a certain extent, she had about 5, 6 different kids. And the church that she was going, she was some leader in the church. And it so happened that we brought her to a deliverance. I had one lady who was on a trip with me, brought her to the deliverance, and she was set free. Our son, she had a daughter who was a nurse in New York, and the rest of the kids, they pushed drugs.
Wow.
One of his sons caught and he was in jail, and he was going on for life. And I flew from here to New York and went down to the jailhouse. He was behind the wall, became a Muslim, had nothing to do with God, but now he was going off for life in jail. So I say to him, I know you're a Muslim and you have nothing to do with God, but your Muslim faith, and this has nothing to do with Muslim now. It's just the experience I have I'm talking about. I said, well, you know, you're behind the bar now and you're going up for life, and the Muslim never help you, or what you believe is not helping you. But I know someone who could help you, and that's Jesus. And he turned his face and because when you talk about that, they hate it, right? I understand that you're listening out there, I'm not offending you, I'm not telling you the experience that I've been through. So I say to him, you are behind the wall and I can't touch you, but one thing I could do if you put your hands on the glass and I put my hand over your palm. If I brought you or led you through a prayer, would you believe that the Jesus who I love and know will help you? And he burst out in tears and he said, yes. So I put my hand over his hand behind the glass, prayed for him. And after we prayed, the following day he went to the courts and he got 3 months in jail. He got saved and came back out with his mom. And his mom is a preacher. Both of them are preachers today. Right? A Muslim. He got saved because he found out that the faith that he was in couldn't help him. But just accepting Jesus, a miracle took place and he was saved. So I have stories that I could tell, but I'll let you go ahead and I don't know if you you just listen to my story.
We need more time with Bishop to get the stories of his walk. It's been a journey for this man. You're now working with the city of Miramar for the Broward Sheriff Office.
Well, it's the Miramar Police Department.
Miramar Police Department.
Yeah, I serve as COP, which I patrol the community on the day that I choose. And I was able to go through all these community gates. You know, I have a clicker. You open all these gates. I love what I do. I've been to the whole city. I see the life of the city. Whatever is going on that the police, I'm not a sworn police officer. What the police doesn't see.
Can you arrest?
Arrest you now.
Do you get a badge?
Well, yeah, I got a badge, yeah. I got an ID, say police, but I wouldn't attempt to do that. We would get the police to come and do that because they are sworn and they carry a firearm. I don't carry a firearm, so we don't make that risk. That would be a risk for us. Yes, I understand. I could go finish the training. I've been to the police academy. I could go finish the training if I could jump those fences and swim and do all that kind of stuff. I could still get a job as a police officer, but no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, but I serve the community. I was Man of the Year 16. Yeah, with picture on the wall and my name engraved on one of those stuff there. So, yes, I serve my community. Serve my community well.
And you're a father, proud father. You're the father of Dr. Vanessa Walker.
Oh, yes. My baby girl.
Your baby girl. And Stacy Ann Musgrave.
Yes, Stacy Ann's a teacher. She's married to a minister. Vanessa is not yet married. But, you know, you got to come right. If you're listening to me and you think about it, you got to come right.
Nobody's going to take your daughter.
No, not so. I'm sorry. So if you ever think about it, that's it. You got to come right.
Well, this has been Chatting with the Stars. We're out of time. It felt like it was just the other day. We felt like we were robbed time to get more information. We didn't get to talk about your son Owen Jr. Walker
we
Foundation.
didn't get to talk about that. No.
But we will have you back. We will have to bring back Dr. Walker for a part 2 with some of his legacy, wealth of information, wealth of knowledge of the Word of God. And we couldn't ask for a better bishop for County Line Worship Center. That's our church. And the numbers on the screen you can call. This man is up. You call him, he's up. He's there. We just want to tell you good night, and we look forward to seeing you next week. This has been Chatting with the Stars. I'm your host, Love.
God bless you. Thank you so much. We'll try to do it again.
Yes.
Wonderful job.